Introduction. It wasn't always this way. There was a time when I felt full of life. My dreams felt within reach, and I truly believed that I could do anything. But then came the darkness, slowly, quietly, until it was all I could see. It started with small, almost invisible thoughts. You're not good enough. Why try? It doesn't matter. But those thoughts, over time, grew louder, and eventually they consumed me. I was trapped in a cycle of anxiety and depression, two invisible forces that drained my energy, robbed me of my happiness, and made everything seem harder than it ever had been. I was struggling, and for the longest time, I didn't even know how to ask for help. The struggle. Every day felt like a battle. Getting out of bed was a challenge. Simple tasks like taking a shower or getting dressed felt overwhelming. My thoughts were a constant storm, worrying about the future, regretting the past, and feeling like I was always falling short. The pressure in my chest felt like I couldn't breathe, and the fear inside my mind told me that things would never get better. I found myself constantly exhausted, both physically and mentally, yet I couldn't sleep. My heart would race with anxiety, and my mind would spiral with worry. I remember the loneliness that came with it, the feeling that no one could understand what I was going through. I tried to explain it to my friends and family, but I just couldn't find the right words. They didn't understand why I was so tired all the time, why I was always distant, and in turn, I didn't understand it either. I didn't know how to break free from the negative thoughts and overwhelming emotions. The turning point. But there came a moment, small but significant, when I realized that something had to change. I was standing in front of a mirror one morning, completely worn out. My reflection stared back at me, and I saw a person I didn't recognize. I was exhausted, mentally and physically drained, and I realized that I was surviving, not living. That's when I decided to take the first small step. I reached out for help. I made the phone call I had been avoiding for so long. A call to a therapist. I still remember the nerves I felt, my heart racing as I spoke the words, "I need help." At first, therapy felt uncomfortable. I was embarrassed to open up, to let someone into my world of fear and doubt. But slowly, as I spoke about my struggles, I started to realize something important. I wasn't alone. My therapist listened, understood, and reassured me that what I was going through wasn't my fault. I began to understand that my mental health struggles didn't define me. They were just part of my story, a story I could change. The healing journey. The road to healing wasn't instant. It wasn't a magical fix. It took time, patience, and persistence. I learned that mental health wasn't something that could be cured overnight, but each day I did a little more than the day before. I practiced mindfulness and deep breathing techniques to calm my anxious thoughts. I learned to challenge my negative beliefs, asking myself if they were truly true or if they were just the product of my depression and anxiety. I started to take better care of my body, sleeping more, eating healthier, exercising, because I learned that my mind and body were connected. I began to write in a journal, allowing myself to process my emotions in a safe space. Slowly, I rebuilt my self-esteem, one small victory at a time. I also learned to be kind to myself. I stopped expecting perfection. I gave myself permission to rest, to not have it all together, to not have all the answers. I realized that it was okay to be imperfect, to ask for help, and to take things one step at a time. The breakthrough. And then one day, I woke up and realized something profound. I was better. Not completely healed, but better. I was no longer consumed by anxiety. I could go a day without feeling like I was drowning in my thoughts. I felt joy again. I laughed without holding back. I started to believe in myself once more. It wasn't about an overnight transformation, but rather about small, consistent steps toward healing. I learned that healing isn't linear. There are good days and bad days. But on the good days, I celebrate the progress. And on the bad days, I remind myself that it's okay to struggle. I remind myself that I am stronger than my mental health struggles. The message. To anyone out there who feels like they're trapped in the darkness, who feels like the weight of the world is too much to bear, Please know that you are not alone. There is always hope. There is always help. Your story is not over, and your struggles do not define who you are. You are worthy of healing, and you deserve to find peace. If you're struggling, take that first small step. Reach out for help. Talk to someone you trust or speak to a professional. Healing takes time, but it is possible.